Good morning. You listen to FloorDaily.net, and I'm Kemp Harr. This morning, my guest is Donald Maier, who is the incoming CEO of Armstrong Flooring Products. Don, how you doing?
I'm doing great, thanks.
Welcome to I know you've been at Armstrong for a while, but welcome to a floor covering focus, right?
Absolutely, yeah. I'm really excited about the new opportunity.
Yeah, so let me just give a little background here. You have been at Armstrong for about 4 years. You joined Armstrong in 2010. Unlike some of the guys that have been leading this business in the past, you have more of a manufacturing background, don't you?
Well, I have a pretty broad business background. I would say the gear that Armstrong is most familiar with is on the manufacturing, procurement, and supply chain side. But for 20 years or so in my earlier life at Hillenbrand Industries, I got an opportunity to run marketing, to run sales, R&D, new product development, plant engineering as well, and ended up as general manager for one of their North American business. So I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do when I grow up, I guess.
Okay, all right. So I'm wrong then. You're more well-rounded. You have both manufacturing and marketing background. I noticed you're a Buckeye. You went to OSU, and then you got your MBA in marketing from Xavier in Cincinnati. Grew up in Ohio. It looks like that when the private equity firm TPG came into Armstrong, you got off the boat and stayed.
That is exactly what happened. I was on the due diligence team for TPG and came in and assessed what I saw to be, from a manufacturing standpoint, the opportunities. As a result of that, as you know, TPG made the investment, and never saw this one coming, but the Armstrong leadership team and board asked me to come lead that effort, and so that's what I did. And it's been just a wonderful past 4 years of working with the team here, and I'm excited to be able to take this role and really get to know the customer-facing side of the business, which is, based on my history, is really where my passion is.
Okay. Just a couple more things, and then we'll get back a little closer to Armstrong. But I noticed that you did work for Hill-Rom as the general manager. Then I think they focus on the hospital furniture and bedding business. And prior to that, I thought this was very interesting, and you probably got ribbed about this a lot. You worked for Batesville Caskets in the manufacturing side, didn't you?
That is correct. And in between there, I actually worked at the semiconductor spinoff of Motorola, making chips for your iPhone and your car. So caskets, hospital beds, and microchips, okay. And now flooring. They all go together.
Yeah. But, you know, the last 4 years you've been at Armstrong, you've been focusing on lean. You've traveled around to several of these manufacturing plants and worked on either consolidations or expansions. I've noticed you've spent some time in Millwood, West Virginia. You've been over in China and also in Russia. Is that right?
That is correct. There were a number of vectors we worked on. First and foremost was to rationalize our footprint globally, and that was a distasteful process, but it involved shutting down 11 facilities around the world. Mm-hmm. But as we were doing that, we were actually investing in 6 new plants, again around the world, several here in the U.S. So it's been a very dynamic time to get our footprint repositioned and aligned to where the markets have moved for our end products. So it's been a great opportunity, tremendous international experience, and very proud of the investments that Armstrong has made here to position us well for the future.
Okay. And one more little background item that I certainly find very interesting, I think other people will, is the fact that you actually used to be a big runner, used to run 50 miles a day. Is that right?
No, not a day, a week. Yeah, I did. And unfortunately, that finally did in my right hip, which I had a tremendous surgeon that replaced that about a month ago, and my recovery's been phenomenal, and I don't even notice that it happened. So that was my stress reliever, and so I've had to find other vehicles for that now.
All right, so I'm talking to you now at the end of September. You're just now stepping into this role. Let's talk a little bit about things looking forward. Obviously, Armstrong and the flooring business is focused in 2 major areas. You've got your hardwood business. You're still the market leader there. And then you've got your resilient business. Obviously, there's categories there. You've got LVT, you've got sheet and linoleum, and a little bit secondary to that, but still an important business is your laminate business. So will you continue to maintain those priorities from a product standpoint?
Yeah, I don't see any adjustments to that at all. I think 2 areas of focus. First and foremost, you mentioned LVT. That's an area where I think we're a little bit late to the game, but we are intent on gaining the leadership position there. I think the hallmark for that is our new plant that will open up next year here in Lancaster, which is frankly going to is a continuation of the strategy of onshoring production from Asia here to the United States to allow us to be much more responsive to our customers. As well, it's going to be a state-of-the-art plant that I think will give us a cost position second to none in the industry. And what I'm really excited about is the innovation that we're going to be introducing in the products that we make out of that facility. So I think that that's a tremendous opportunity for us. On the wood side of the business, with all of the inflation that we saw last year and the inability to get price in step with that, we've had quite a bit of a cleanup, and I'm very proud of what the team has been able to accomplish thus far this year on the wood side of the business. Clearly is a strategically very important segment and market for us. That's been a key focal point of ours to make sure we get that business back to the positions we'd had prior to last year's significant events. And our commitment to the laminate and the VCT and sheet products, continues. In fact, the first plant that we brought here to the U.S. was our glass-structured sheet product, and that plant opened up shortly after I had arrived here. That was bringing production out of a facility over in Europe. Really excited about the investments we've made there and leveraging them. I guess I might as well round it out for you. The third one is bringing all of our engineered wood production to the United States, and we're in the process of completing that here this summer. Again, that's going to give us a nice cost improvement and get us much closer to the customer to reduce the length of the supply chains and provide much better service levels and quality, I believe, in the product.
I did an interview with you guys about that about a month ago, and so you're moving most everything that was in China in the engineered category to Somerset, Kentucky, right?
That is correct, yeah.
A couple other little questions. Most people know Armstrong sells through distribution, so you're going to maintain that same channel strategy to market?
Yeah, there is actually a significant amount of work going to actually reinforce our exclusive distributor channel that we have. We think it is our best path to market, and frankly, I don't know that we've actually lived up to all of our obligations as part of that partnership. So we're actively working with them to identify how we can improve our connectivity with them and the level of service and products that we bring to the market. I would say it's not even just that we're maintaining it, we're looking to really improve it significantly. It's an area, having coming out of Armstrong and largely focused on the manufacturing side, it's an area of the company that I want to spend a significant amount of my time on so that I can get out and meet with our distributors, the retailers they serve, their customers and consumers to understand, what it is that Armstrong needs to do to be a better supplier.
So you're not going to be just hanging out over there in that LEED Platinum building that's down on the end of the campus?
No, I've made a commitment to change the whole trajectory of Armstrong back to the customer. I think that's where Thomas Armstrong started this enterprise 150-plus years ago of really focusing on the customer and letting the buyer have faith was his mantra. I think through a lot of the processes we've been through, we've become very internally focused, and I need to get the entire organization starting with the customer and driving things back to Lancaster, and you can't do that sitting here in Lancaster. So I've committed to 50% of my time will be out on the road traveling and meeting with customers, consumers, retailers, distributors, and I think you're going to see a lot more people here in Lancaster doing the same thing.
That sounds great. Well, welcome again, as I said earlier, to the business, and look forward to working with you. Again, been talking to Don Maier, who is the CEO of Armstrong Flooring Products business, and you've been listening to Kemp Harr and FloorDaily.net.